Hey there, it's Sandra. Welcome back to the Schwowin's Nest. Today I'm turning thrifted pieces into high-end home decor to rival Pottery Barn and the antique farmhouse. With a little imagination and creativity, I'm curating a home filled with luxury looks on a dime store budget. I really like the look of basket weave pots and vases, so when I came across this one at the thrift, I grabbed it right away. Originally, it was clear glass, then I painted it with a dark olive green and dry brushed it with white, but that wasn't doing anything for me. So I left it on my shelf for a while and then came across this one from Pottery Barn. To give the bottom a bit more shape, I'm gluing it to this terracotta saucer with weld bond glue and hot glue. Then I'll use spackling to fill in the gap and make it look like one piece. A lot of the high-end websites tend to use more fancy words to describe a planter pot. And this one is a cache pot. It's a decorative outer container used to hide an ordinary, less attractive plant pot. So it comes from the French word cacher, which means to hide, and the pots usually don't have drainage holes, which makes it really easy to just take your plant, whatever you bought at the garden store, and drop it into the cache pot and just make it look beautiful without having to actually replant it. I used this small scraper to remove any extra spackling that ended up on the saucer or the vase, and then set it aside to dry. Using fine grit sandpaper, I removed the excess spackle to make sure it was smooth and didn't show any joint lines. Then it got 2 coats of white chalk paint with a soft brush. This is a Stylmeister brush, which are my favorite for painting with any type of paint. They rarely leave brush strokes and are super easy to clean. I've got them up on my Amazon store if you want to try them out. They are a bit pricey to start, but I've had mine for years and they still work like brand new, especially if you take care of them and clean them right away as soon as you're done painting. I painted a bit down inside the pot and then gave it a coat with clear satin spray paint by Rust-Oleum to make it a bit shiny like the Pottery Barn one. Here's a look at them both side by side. Mine was $7 and the Pottery Barn one starts at $57 on sale. That's a $50 savings, and I'm really pleased with how mine turned out. This teapot was only $3.99. It had a crack in the handle and the lid, which I won't need for this project anyway. I did, however, want a larger bottom on it like the inspiration piece from the antique farmhouse. I tried it with the saucer the proper way, but it didn't look right, so I flipped it upside down and used hot glue to secure it in place. I painted it with DIXIE BELLE French linen mineral chalk paint, just 1 coat because I'm going to add some texture in the paint for the second coat. I should have filled in the gap between the saucer and the teapot with spackle, but I forgot, so I did that after this first coat was dry. Sometimes I don't get the angle of my camera right, and I like for you to be able to see all of my projects at a good angle and not upside down. But let me know if this angle works for you guys, or if you would rather have me do it from the top down or maybe from the complete side of it. Let me know. I know my arm and my hand get in the way quite often, and sometimes I move my camera just by bumping into it, and then I don't realize that I've done it, and then I'm completely out of frame. I'd love to hear what you think. I find the best way to put spackle on, especially when you're trying to fill a gap like this, is just to use your fingers. Now, for the first project, I did use a glove, but for this one, I got lazy and I just threw my finger in that spackle bucket and then just filled everything in. It's really easy to wash this type of spackle off, and it does dry fairly quickly as well. I did use my blow dryer to speed up the process so I could keep going with this project. To add texture into the paint, I use some plaster of Paris instead of baking soda. This way, I get some really rough spots and I think it looks more like real concrete. I did forget to turn my camera on for this part. Sorry about that, but I think you get the idea. I looked really closely at the antique farmhouse teapot and it didn't seem to have any distressing, but I figured I'll go over mine with some brown wax to bring out more of the texture, and I think it was the right choice. I applied the wax with a paper towel that I spritzed lightly with some water, just to make the wax a little bit more workable. I do find when you're putting wax on rough pieces like this, it tends to just stick really easily in the one spot, and using the damp paper towel helped me to blend it out a bit. Here's another look at the antique farmhouse teapot at $39 for a set of two, and mine for $4. That's a savings of $35. The antique farmhouse is probably my favorite shop to browse because everything is so vintage and rustic, exactly my style. I know it's not for everyone, but I think a little farmhouse lives in all of us, right? This urn was $8.50, and although it had some nice color to it already, I wanted to make it more like this one from the antique farmhouse. I started by adding some different tones of green in random areas. One is Conservatory by Fusion, which is the lighter green, and the other is Hampton Olive by Dixie Belle. Now I'm adding some French linen Dixie Belle mineral chalk paint because I want different colors to show through when it's distressed. After this dried, I used a simple piece of candle wax to add on to the places where I wanted the paint not to stick. You can go as heavy or as light as you like, and it's a great way to distress without doing any really rough sanding. To get a similar look as the inspiration piece, I'm going to use milk paint. I'm mixing a couple of colors together to get a soft toned white with a little bit of beige undertones. The first is Hotel Robe and the second is Algonquin, and they are both from Fusion. Milk paint is so fun to use simply because you can mix and match colors in powder form to see the shade before you even add the water. It does need to get stirred really well and will thicken up eventually, so it's always a good idea to keep some water close by to thin it out if required. Also, a little goes a long way. I purchased these sample packets in a bunch of different colors to try them out, and I've already done at least 5 or 6 projects with the white alone. I like using a fan brush to apply milk paint since it's usually more watery than regular paint. This way, I can control how much paint gets on the brush to avoid drips and runs. I'm going to do 2 coats of paint on the urn to make sure it has full coverage and gets a nice chippy crackle finish. I started off sanding it with a light grit paper, but then switched to a rougher grit. I think it was 120, and that really took off where the candle wax was. You can do as little or as much sanding as you want, but I'm going to do as little as possible because I want all the texture and bumps to show. I think that gives it more of an authentic aged appearance. Let's take a look at the antique farmhouse urn for $56 in comparison to mine, which was $8. That's a savings of $48, and I really love how mine turned out. I can't wait to style it in my home. Here's another simple and quick idea for a planter that mimics this one from Pottery Barn that starts at $59. I saw this little bubble pot at the thrift shop for $5.50, and it immediately reminded me of this Pottery Barn one. I've also seen similar pots like this on other sites too, and they are all really expensive. All I need to do with this is give it a good cleaning and then a couple of coats of white chalk paint. For the second coat, I switched to a sponge dauber so there wouldn't be any brush strokes and it would look more like ceramic. After it was completely dry, I sprayed it with a clear satin top coat and it's ready to get styled. Here's a look at the Pottery Barn one compared to mine. The Pottery Barn one is $59 for the small one that you see, but mine was only $5.50 for the larger one. That's a savings of $53. I found this long concrete trough for $8.49, and I knew it was a perfect dupe for this one from Pottery Barn. They used to be available in different colors, but now there is only white and gray left. But I really like the black, so I'm going to leave it alone. I want to fill it with faux succulents, so first I added some floral foam, which was also a thrift find, and then I'll gather my succulents and design a pretty look. I figured once I had them all in, I would get some pea gravel from my backyard and fill in any spaces where the foam was still showing. But this piece had other ideas. I never noticed until I was editing this video that it had a crack in the bottom, and when I applied pressure to it, it simply split in half. I was so shocked I couldn't even speak. I haven't decided if I'm going to try gluing it back together, if it's worth it. I wasn't going to put anything real in it anyway, and I was just going to have it sitting outside on my patio table, so it might be worth the effort. Here's a look at the Pottery Barn one, which was listed on sale for $167, and mine, which is alas broken, but was only $8.49. That's a huge savings of $158. I put mine through an AI process, added some succulents to it, and displayed it so you could get an idea of what I thought this was going to look like. Let me know if you think it would be worth trying to glue this piece back together to create something like this. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I hope you enjoyed these thrift shop upcycles that saved me hundreds of dollars. If you haven't yet subscribed, I'd love it if you could hit that red button and stick around a while. Bye for now.